Democrats, especially the donors, need to know what the hell is going on because Democrats are in full-blown freakout over Biden. Who would have ever been surprised? So this is from
Wow.
Politico, actually, and I just want to summarize it briefly for you guys that Democrats are increasingly anxious about President Joe Biden's re-election prospects. Well, I wonder why. Concerns stem from poor polling, fundraising deficits, and key issues like immigration, inflation, and Biden's age. Trump is ahead in battleground states and aggressively courting Hispanics and Black voters. We went over this in our previous show. Democrats like Massachusetts Governor Maria Hilly, they always got the weirdest names up there, are urging donors to step up while others express fear over Biden's lack of campaign momentum. Democratic operatives and supporters are worried about the impact of Trump's campaigning and the potential consequences for democracy. Now, I just want to give you guys a couple direct quotes. So there's apparently a Democratic operative who works really close with the White House and was granted this ability to anonymously speak to the press about things. But he said, you don't want to be that guy who's on record saying we're doomed or the campaign's bad or Biden's making mistakes. Nobody wants to be that guy. Now, another quote that I have from an advisor is that the list of why we could win is so small, I don't even need to keep a list on my phone. So that is the current state of the Biden campaign right there. And we have I'm talking about the multi-millionaire donors freaking the hell out. Fellas, earlier this year, I was on a show where I said, perhaps we'll have a change at the convention where perhaps the delegates will say, I don't want this. I want somebody else like Michelle Obama, Gavin Newsom. Now we're seeing that the DNC is actually going to have a virtual roll call for the delegates. So a lot of weird things are happening behind the scenes. Donors are not too happy about it. Fellas, what do you guys think about this report?
I absolutely think and we've all been saying this for quite a while. At the DNC, if they don't believe that Biden can win, I personally believe that the reason why we've been seeing Biden so unhinged is because he's been allowed to become unhinged to make the case at some point to invoke the 25th Amendment or to have him say, I need to step down because of health concerns. At that point, what do? Do you have Kamala take over and then at the convention pull something where she can't be president? Like what exactly do you do? We've all been waiting for the nuclear option and we don't know exactly what it is. But I think the more that we call out different playbooks that they could potentially run, the more people are going to wise up and say, no. They already called that one out. So the more that we can pinpoint their possible game plan, the more they have to change the play on live, and it's going to make them harder for them to do anything, which I think is very important for us to keep doing.
Well, I agree. And that's why, like, even if you go back to shows that I did, I don't know if it's quite a year ago now, but at least by last summer, last June, July, I was talking about things like this J.B. Pritzker, Gavin Newsom nominee for the Democrats. I was talking about Michelle Obama at one point potentially being the nominee and all the different ways in which that could come to fruition. And I don't necessarily think it's out of the question now. However, I do believe they've started to walk themselves into a corner, and maybe this is just the start of a way in which they could switch it over. But I really don't think, Biden has officially announced his campaign. They're constantly making ads that are donor funded, and donors are still donating to the Biden-Harris campaign. The only way would be
I don't want to cut you off there, but I just want to add some an additional thing. What happened in Ohio, though? I mean, that has to raise some eyebrows for you, right? With the fact that they're literally not trying to get Biden on the ballot. The Republicans are willing to work with the Biden administration directly. And the Biden administration pretty much said, screw this. And they ran out of time to do something there. So, I mean, in a sense, you're right. I mean, there's an official campaign. They throw a lot of money onto ads across battleground states, but they're not even trying to get him on the ballot in Ohio. What do you think?
I got to be honest, I don't know that much. That wasn't the Ohio story I was following. I was following how a bank actually got exploded within the last 2 hours in Ohio. That was in Youngstown, Ohio. That was the main story I was following from there. So I don't know as much about their ballot, and I'm not going to claim to. But I think that to some extent, maybe they're phoning it in. Maybe they're hoping that enough people will just be anti-Trump to vote for them. I really don't know what they're doing, but I will always say it's not over till it's over, because Republicans do have a way of snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. And we've seen that in 2020. We've seen that in 2022. We've seen that even back in 2012 to some extent. There has been a constant over generations, over decades, way that Republicans have of having the best policy but the worst messaging. And so maybe Democrats have more more up their sleeves than we give them credit for. And so the fight is not over. Maybe we're not currently seeing the summer of love that we saw in 2020. Maybe we're not seeing nearly as much chaos that leans in Democrats' favor as we've seen in the past. However, it's not over till it's over, everybody. And let's be honest. I mean, you don't need Ohio to win 270. So,
yeah, I will say this about the campaign is I'm subscribed to their emails because I always like to see what are they emailing. The emails will tell you so much. I'm a marketing expert, and all I do is I sign up for people's email lists to see what are they doing? What are they talking about? How many times are they emailing me per month? Here's a weird thing. I have been inundated. I mean, almost to the point of I'll call it spam by the Biden campaign. They are sending 4 emails per day out to try to raise money. They're all campaign emails. They call them his MAGA minions. They call them all. It's nonstop fundraising. And I'm like, either they're having a very bad month because of all this stuff that's been happening, or else why would they be trying to raise so much money? Something is going on. And the fact that they're sending out so many emails, trying so hard to raise money, points to something going on.
You know what that something is? First of all, they fell behind Trump last month or last quarter. I'm not sure which one when it comes down to fundraising. But also what you see in the polling is pretty damn evident. Obviously, we've seen these key battleground states where Trump is up like crazy. But a couple things to consider here is that the black vote is starting to sway to Trump. And I'm not saying that he will win a majority of the black vote or anything like that. But he went from 9% to 20% of black votes supporting him. And he doesn't even need 15, 16% supporting him. Just 13, 14 is plenty. Same thing with Hispanics. I have another poll I want to read for you guys. When it comes down to the issues, a majority of voters say Trump was the better candidate to handle the economy and border security, 54 and 52% respectively. When it comes down to Biden, it's just 34% on the economy and 32% on immigration. So donors see this. They understand that maybe if we blast 4 emails a day, then we'll start to pull in more money. But that money that they'll spend on ads and knocking on doors is not going to override the reality. The reality is that inflation is pretty high. The border is literally wide open. The cost of goods is pretty high. The gas prices are pretty high. And that's why you're seeing polls like Michigan, 48% to 45%, Trump leading by 3%, where in 2020, it was 3% for Biden. And this is Michigan, guys. So,
Wow.
yeah, this is incredible. This is not including RFK Jr., which now, I mean, a couple of weeks ago, we were seeing some crazy polls that he's pulling from Trump as well. But now every poll that we see with RFK Jr. included into it, it drops Biden into the 30s.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, look at these latest polls. Arizona, 47 Biden, 47 Trump. Nevada, Trump is leading by 4. Pennsylvania, Trump leading by 1. Michigan, Trump's leading by 3. Wisconsin, these are all the battleground states Democrats have to win. Like, it's not even a question. They have to win at least a few of these. And I don't see any pathway to victory, especially when you factor in the RFK factor, how he can pull this out.
Yeah, this is incredible. And the polling are very reflective of the situation that's happening right now. And I love this talking point, by the way, by the Democrats. Oh, the problem at the southern border is the Republicans' fault. They didn't pass the bill that was in the House or the Senate. That was a bunch of BS. There's a little trap and everything. So, this is very reflective of the resentment that I would say is among the American voters. Like we started this show, American voters, the average American could give less of a shit about the trials that Trump is in and whatnot. They care about immigration. They care about the economy. That's the 2 things that they care about. And he's failing on every single front there. So it makes sense why we're seeing incredible polls like this.
Yep.
No, absolutely. But once again, do not get comfortable, everybody. We are still months away. So it's May. It's almost June right now. 6 months. We have 3-4 months before the election. Do not get comfortable. Do not get comfortable.
And Kev, I couldn't stress this enough. Literally do not get comfortable, because if you just start to look down ballot, I'm not saying all the way down to your commissioner races and stuff like that. I'm talking about your Senate race, your House races and everything like that. Democrats, the generic Democrat is still beating the generic Republican candidate. And that is the problem. Although Democrats will go choose a third party or even perhaps Trump over Biden, when they go down the ballot, they're still deciding to go with the Democrat Senate over the Republican Senate. And if you I really hope this won't happen, but if you have a Democrat majority Senate, then if anything happens to the Supreme Court, you will not be able to confirm a single conservative justice. And that is the biggest problem. We'll gladly get Trump into the White House. That is the number one mission. But the second mission is to control the Senate, especially in the circumstance of a Supreme Court justice, something happening there, right?